Welcome back to part 4, the last part for Module 1, Impact of Digital Technology. Let's go ahead and quickly cover the topics that this video covers. We're going to talk about the use of technology, how it assists in healthcare. Technology has impacted the world in manufacturing. We'll look at that. How technology has been leveraged in higher education. And finally, what you can do to prepare for a career in technology if in fact technology interests you and you'd like to make it a career. Now, as we talk about healthcare, you're probably familiar with the Fitbit and what's going on there. You know, physicians use computers to monitor patients' vital signs. So here's maybe a screenshot of a monitor that's in the patient room, but all of this data goes out to a main screen at the nurse's station so they don't have to walk around as much. They can maintain that. An alarm can go off if something falls at a threshold, for example. Maybe someone's heart rate increases past an acceptable threshold. They're a heart patient. We need to rush in there. We're going to know in real time versus walking around hoping that something dings or goes off for us to take care of that patient. When we talk about healthcare and technology, it's on your wrist today. And if you happen to watch or catch any of the last Apple Watch big event, you know, they talked about this, how their Apple Watch actually saved people because alarms went off, their heart was beating too fast, something was going on, it didn't seem to be adjusting itself. And where maybe the person was exercising, for example, and thought, ooh, you know, I've got a little chest pain, but it's probably just exercise, I'll work through it. Their device was able to tell them, this is not good. We need to get someplace. We need to do that. Blood sugar is another great example. You know, it used to take a lot and a huge machine to check your blood sugar. Now it's just a quick, you know, click or scan and boom, you get instant readings of your blood sugar. So diabetic patients can have their blood sugar tested more often. They can wear a monitor that tests their blood sugar, that sets an alarm off, that keeps a history of their blood sugar much better than we used to do. So mobile health, if you will. Finally, you know, medical monitoring devices. Some might even say that this is a medical monitoring device. Maybe the next time you go into the emergency room and get admitted to the hospital, they don't plug you into a bunch of stuff. They just give you a watch to wear. And that gives them the information they need from sensors on the back. This was kind of interesting that they threw 3D printers. To me, it seemed like, oh, look, it's a last minute thing. But when we talk about healthcare, we can 3D print things like casts based on an image of a person's leg so that we get the perfect cast for them. We get the perfect brace for them. We get a perfect medical device that needs to be just the right size for a valve in their heart, for example. It could technically be 3D printed. And today, folks, you could have these 3D printers at home. We're seeing literally houses that are 3D printed. We're seeing tennis shoes that are 3D printed, production items that are 3D printed, not just from a manufacturing standpoint, not just for, say, a hobby. Technology and manufacturing, we talked about that. Here is an engineer doing a CAD, a computer-aided manufacturing or computer-aided drafting design. And they're able to see 3D. They're able to see how it goes together. I remember when it was just a draftsperson that would try to build something. Because they didn't see the 3D, they would sometimes actually put one piece of the device in the same space that another piece would be existing because it's two drawings looking at it two different ways. They forgot what was on the first drawing. They forgot that there was something in that space. You go to build it and go, well, wait a minute. I can't put two electric motors in the same space within this device. And so you'd have to go back to them. So with 3D, we can see how it is. At my old business, Columbia Aircraft Manufacturing, when I worked there, we actually would design aircraft using 3D, and then we could run those 3D models through testing so that we didn't have to actually test. We would tell what materials were building it with, how thick they are, and literally simulate turbulence in the air to see how far a wing could span before it breaks, for example. Robots, the productivity in technology in general. It used to be that a mechanic, you wouldn't see a mechanic with a laptop. Now you do, and the reason being, they know what part they need better than the part ordering person. They would have to put in an order, the part ordering person would order the part, then it would take a while to get there, the car has to sit for days, whereas now they can come over, they know the part better than anyone else, so they can bring up the part, they can see if it's in their inventory, if they need to overnight ship it, if one of their part suppliers in town has the part, so that they can get it in within hours versus days, get that car worked on it, get it out of the way, and start on another car. Here's kind of another neat opportunity. Maybe this is the final end of a shipping line. And of course, every iPhone, because of the expense, needs to be tracked along the way. We also want to track it. If there's a problem with the iPhone, this particular iPhone here, we can go back and look at its manufacturing, see when it was manufactured, see if perhaps other devices that were manufactured within the hour, within the minute, within the day are also failing. We can then pinpoint what device, what component is failing, go back to the sub-manufacturer that manufactured that for us and say, hey, there was an issue. We want to be reimbursed because our devices aren't working. And you told us we could expect this number of quality with this number of defect rate. Well, actually, you haven't met that defect rate, and now it's costing our company productivity, time, and resources to fix broken iPhones, for example. So we could track the device all the way through the process. We then know what user registers the device, how it's used, etc. So monitoring assembly lines. If we think about this, we just need to think about Amazon and how Amazon had to leverage so much technology and build their own technology, their own robots, their own storage, their own shipping systems, just to meet the need coming from so that they could, in fact, be profitable. Now, as we get into higher education, I probably don't have to say much here. Just the fact that higher education has been changed. We are seeing the highest demand in our community college for online classes because you all are busy, you all are working jobs, you have families, you have other obligations, but you want to get a higher education degree or higher education to advance your, maybe just yourself, your knowledge, or maybe to get a better job, to earn a better career. And because you're busy, you take courses online, e-learning, if you will. So you have Blackboard, you're watching this. I made sure when I did the first video, because I'm doing these differently, that they play well on my phone. I brought up a friend's iPhone, checked it there. I checked an iPad that I have. I also checked my laptop just to make sure it's playing on all these devices so that you can consume this anywhere you are. Here's an example of an iPad down here where someone's reading a digital book called an ebook. For the 120 class that this lecture is for, they actually have some online learning software that they use to enhance their learning, i.e. y'all watching this video, and you have a digital textbook. That should cut down the cost of textbooks, and I think it will eventually. We're not really seeing a great decrease in cost, but we're actually seeing better teaching materials because it used to be we just got the book. Now we get the book and we get online testing and we get the ability to create these PowerPoints with outcomes that we know you need in order to be successful in this course. Finally, preparing for a career in technology. When we talk about that, technology is all around. Most likely, you're going to apply for your next job online. And that means you need to know how to upload a resume. You need to know that your resume is proofread and that everything's perfect because you no longer get to make that first great impression for that company to be compelled to hire you and you alone by making that handshake. Your handshake comes from your cover letter, from the detail that you put in, the time you put in filling out that online application, and uploading your resume. And folks, let me just give you a quick hint here. If there's a space or a text box where they want information that's on your resume, fill it out. Because today, the way people are weeded through, if you will, is do they meet the requirements? Did they fill out enough of the things to get a high enough score for the human resource manager for them to pop up and say, here is a viable candidate? Because companies may get 100 people. They don't want to have to spend the time anymore filtering through 100 resumes when they can have a hiring system, an IT system that does it for them. Also, remember that professional social networks exist, sometimes specific to industries, sometimes overarching for the world. LinkedIn is an example. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, you should start one. This is not necessarily social media for your friends and family. You want to link to people that are in professional careers that are similar to yours. That's the focus here. Employers can go out, you can upload your resume to LinkedIn, you can let them know you're available. Employers can go out and search the LinkedIn database and find candidates in their area that meet certain requirements. In the case of technology, we have a ton of certifications where the producer of the technology helps us out. The producer helps us out in providing certifications that confirm that I have the skills needed by employers to in fact work. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And then here we go, we're applying for a job. We better know how to upload a resume. Notice Microsoft Word or PDF. It needs to be 5 megs. So we need to talk about, and we will in a later thing, talk about file sharing and file size. Because if I've got a high definition pictures or something in my video, it may be over that size. And when I hit the upload, it may not upload and my chance to get that job is ruined. So we want to make sure that we fill things out, that we upload the right resume, that it's the right size, that we do it in the file format that the employer is willing to accept. If we have any certifications, we have them there. And then of course we want to link with people out on sites like LinkedIn, so that we can stay within our field, so that if we're without a job, we can notify people that we're looking for a job, and also people can find us if we have a job and they're looking for a candidate and willing to pay us more or offer us more benefits to move. So hopefully this helps. I hope you enjoyed this video series, and I look forward to teaching you the next one. Take care.